They come in their hundreds, from around the corner, over the border, across the seas. For many months, maybe years, they've prepared for this moment. Perhaps it is just one day in a lifetime. Then again, it's a day that can last a lifetime.
IronMan is family.
This is the unknown.
It's willpower and determination.
It's heartache and pain. It's blood, sweat and tears.
It's overcoming limits.
It's a lifelong goal. IronMan is about being the very best that I can be.
This is the 2008 Panthers IronMan Australia Triathlon. Port Macquarie, New South Wales, a town that moves along at its own quiet pace. But once a year, it undergoes a dramatic turnaround when it hosts the Panthers IronMan Australia Triathlon. The elite fields are strong. New Caledonia's Patrick Vernay returns to defend his title. He's trying to win his third event down under after last year he also claimed IronMan Western Australia.
I like coming in Australia, and I won 2 times in 8 months. So why not 3 times in 12 months? It would be okay.
Vernay has no shortage of rivals. Switzerland's Matthias Hecht and Australians Luke McKenzie, Mitch Anderson and Luke Bell.
It's great to be racing back home in Australia. The crowd, the home crowd, the atmosphere is, amazing. And to be here in Port Macquarie with the scenery and everything, everyone talks about the beautiful beaches and the scenic bike course and run. Although it's quite hilly and challenging, it is quite beautiful. And it's been a joy to walk around town this week.
I know what this race means now. This is my 6th race here, and I want to win it badly too. This is something that I've dreamt about. I've thought about it for, the last 6 years, let alone the last 3 months. Every day has been a step towards trying to win this race.
In the women's, no one has attracted more attention than England's effervescent Chrissie Wellington. World champion after winning in Kona, Hawaii last year. She only turned professional 8 months earlier at the age of 30.
When people say you're world champion, oh no, really? And sometimes I'm training or I'm cycling along and I think, oh my God, I'm world champion, and I get a bit overcome with all this emotion.
Aussie Kate Major heads the list of challengers. She was 3rd last year at Kona, but on her home turf, who knows how she will be lifted.
Every Ironman I do, you feel like you're going into the unknown again. Like, the preparation you've done and you know how you're feeling, but you just don't know how you're going to feel on race day, which is, that's the worst part.
Race day is just 12 hours away. The journey into the unknown is about to begin. 5 o'clock Sunday morning. Cold, wet, miserable. Surely there are better places to be than here. But if you're one of 1,500 competitors, this is the only place to be.
I spent hours in the wind tunnel with this. It's very aerodynamic.
While much of the attention focuses on the elite, one of the beauties of this event is that everyday people compete alongside the stars. This year there are 2 who know what it's like to be on both sides of the fence. Former Wallaby prop Ben Darwin and Aussie lead great Robbie O'Davis. IronMan first-timers.
I said to some people this morning I've actually found a reason to do this triathlon. I've shaved my legs for the first time, and bloody hell it feels great. So that's pretty much the only reason I'm doing it, because it feels good having shaved legs. A few of the boys have said, why are you doing it? And it's a
What a great challenge, you know, and I think in many ways, because I go against that mode of what you'd say is physiologically adaptable to triathlon, and I don't really suit this thing, that's what makes it hard, makes it interesting.
As the final countdown begins, the rain disappears. The water temperature in the Hastings River is 19 degrees. It's just another number for those ready for the 3.8 kilometre swim leg.
You can't know what are the feelings. What are the feelings at the start? It's horrible. You are very nervous. I really don't like this moment.
You have to be apprehensive about the start. I mean, I know that people talk about the joy of the Ironman start, but I'm yet to experience that joy. All I really feel is apprehension and wanting the day to get going.
I always take a moment before the start, and you'll quickly just do a quick run through, and I'm talking, you know, a couple of minutes, but you'll go through exactly what you want to do in the day ahead. So it becomes second nature, and once the gun goes off, you're not in shock. You don't know what you're going to do. You know, okay, cannon's fired, game on, let's go.
For the elite, you can't win the Ironman in the swim, but you can lose it.
I found myself on the losing end on quite a few occasions, you know, in even WA last year. You know, I was 6 minutes behind the win, and probably 4 of them came in the swim. And you just sort of think, well, if I had been in touch earlier, you know, could I have made that extra time? The answer, again, is hypothetical, but probably yes.
In many respects, for me, the toughest part of the race is that initial frantic kind of 200-metre sprint at the start, and I will try and go all out at the start of the swim to try and get myself in a good position. All of the Aussie age group is going to be able to swim, so whereas in many other Ironman the pros get more of a head start, here there's going to be a much larger proportion of good swimmers in the pack, so I can't expect to come out even in the first 50.
As the field spreads, Australian professionals Luke McKenzie and Cameron Watt set the pace. Queensland's Sarah Pollitt leads the women's. The tactics of the front runners is obvious. Get in a pack and settle on someone's feet where energy may be conserved. A long way back, Ben Darwin just keeps on ploughing. He can only turn his head one way, the result of a neck injury he sustained in the 2003 Rugby World Cup semi-final against New Zealand. It ended his career and changed his life forever.
It was the same kind of injury that Christopher Reeve had, so it's a top couple of vertebrae sort of shifted in and out, and I lost all feeling below my chin. So for that little period on the field, there were certainly things popping through my head about maybe not being around anymore or being in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, and that kind of hit home a bit later when you see your family and the look in their eyes. And so whilst at the time it wasn't too scary, later on down the track when I realised how bad things could have been, and when you meet other people for whom their life is in a wheelchair, then you kind of think, you know, I've been a very, very lucky boy. And I'll admit I've had a pretty difficult time since retiring, but for me, doing this Ironman is a bit sort of coming full circle and saying, okay, that part of my life's now over. I used to be a footballer, now I'm going to do something else. And so it feels nice to sort of complete that period of my life with finishing an Ironman.
Ben and some others in the field will be in the water for more than 100 minutes, at least twice as long as the elite.
Yeah, in the swim I can sort of see what's going on and sometimes who's where, but it might be a little, sometimes it's a little hard when there's so much water and thrashing going on. But generally I just try and look, I can feel the pace that I'm swimming at, so it doesn't matter who I'm with or where I am, I just try and hold that.
Volume. That's all I've been doing. Last year I think I added up my average swim miles and it was, kilometres. And it was about 5 or 6k a week. So I'm really only was getting in the pool, on average twice a week. Whereas this time I've been in the pool 5 or 6 times and swimming 20k's a week. And that's made a huge difference. If I don't get out too much faster, I'll certainly be getting out a bit fresher.
The swim leg I try and just break down into different sections, like it'll be the straight first section, you'll think, okay, I've got to swim, fast, whether you choose for 2, 3, 400 a kilometre, different races, different competitors, you'll pick different scenarios. You'll then settle down and think, okay, we'll settle into a steady pace for this first lap, and then once we head out in the second lap, we'll try and pick it up again. And then you'll decide whether you want to bring it home strong or conserve a bit of energy towards the end of the swim.
Approaching the finish, it appears Mackenzie will be first out of the water. But in the final few strokes, Cameron Watt has other ideas. His time, 46 minutes 57. Peak hour suddenly hits the river's edge and transition area. Matthias Hecht is third out, 47 seconds behind Watt. Luke Bell is close by.
I think now it's more important that you get in and out of transition as quickly as possible. You're looking at transition times of under 60 seconds, so it's not like you've got time to hang around and have a bit of a chat and see what's going on and get out on the bike. It's in, you do your business as quickly as possible and get out, because it's sort of free time in a way. If you can get in and get out as quickly as possible in an orderly manner, then you may pick up 30 seconds to a minute on another competitor.
And every moment counts when the field includes such class athletes as this 34-year-old father of one.
That's our defending champion from New Caledonia, Patrick Vernay.
Vernay clocks the 6th fastest time, nearly 4 minutes off the pace. The most notable athlete missing from the top finishers, Mitch Anderson, in 16th, more than 5 minutes behind Watt. Queensland's Sarah Pollitt is the first woman out of the water in 52 minutes 1 second. Wellington is second, nearly a minute and a half behind. You could be excused for thinking she has just arrived at a party.
Hopefully I'll have a smile on my face for most, if not all of the day.
Little separates the top women. 4th placed Kate Major is just 2 seconds behind Tasmania's Amelia Pearson. Both have Wellington in their sights. Strong cyclist Lisa Morangan is 5th. As hundreds of feet hit the ground, others clip in and begin spinning. The 180-kilometre Avanti bike leg over 3 laps. Mackenzie quickly takes the lead. With a boxing kangaroo prominent on his helmet, is he ready for the fight that will follow? After 10 kilometres, the 26-year-old Queenslander has a 42-second lead over Matthias Hecht. Luke Bell is third, a further minute back.
You put your head down and you'll pedal for the first half hour, and then you'll settle down. I choose to run off a stopwatch, so every 15 or 20 minutes I'll have a bit of a drink, maybe a power bar, power gel out there, and that'll work like clockwork for the next 4.5 hours for me. It's a matter of staying on top of the nutrition.
Bell will need all his determination to stay focused. He has floating bones in his right knee, an unpredictable injury that may swell up or not trouble him at all. He's also battling to overcome family sadness. This won't be known publicly until the end of the race. It is a heart-wrenching day. By the 30-kilometre mark in the women's, Kate Major has taken the lead, pushing out to a 1-minute advantage over Chrissy Wellington. Lisa Morangan is third.
I'm not going to go out like it's an Olympic distance triathlon. I'm going to take each loop and try and build on that, and basically enjoy the downhill, get as much speed as I can for the uphill, and just keep it nice and steady.
Such is the epic nature of this race, the elite are well into the bike leg while the everyday are just finishing the swim. Among them, Trudy Needs, who has recently turned 50. This is her first IronMan.
Just wanted to do one for such a long time, and now's my time, I hope.
Trudy is a mother of 6. Her husband Peter, a veteran Ironman, has already passed through transition. His thoughts will be with her all day.
I've told her to enjoy the day. That's a big thing. Relax, enjoy the day. It's fully catered. You get 17 hours, get your money's worth.
Ben Darwin is certainly doing that.
Good morning. It was longer than I thought. It felt like about 5Ks, but you got to enjoy your day, eh? Oh, I tried to.
They'll help you out again.
Of all the competitors who have come to Port Macquarie, few are more inspiring than 25-year-old Matt O'Neill from Ballarat, country Victoria. This is his third Ironman Australia. He is addicted to the sport. Just a few years ago, his life was very different.
Yeah, at the age of 16, I kind of got pretty much into drugs at a young age, and pretty much for 6 years I was very up and down. Like I was pretty much on drugs. I think there were 4 years I was pretty much taking drugs every day. 5 years I was taking drugs every day. So pretty much by the time I was 20, I'd tried every drug under the sun: heroin, cocaine, acid, speed, ketamine, whatever it was. I'd done it. We'd start Friday night and pretty much finish Monday without sleeping, and then use marijuana to calm us down for the rest, and then Thursday would come and Friday would come, we'd be back on it.
A risky existence that reached its lowest during a holiday with some mates 3 years ago.
We went to Cairns and we went up there and we partied for 5 days straight. We didn't sleep one day, and we come back and I'd come down pretty hard, and it was pretty bad. Like it was nearly, I got to a stage where I got off it a little bit then, I got back on it, and I was that weak, like with partying that hard, it nearly drove me to suicide. So that's when I kind of thought, I'd been doing a little bit of running before that, and then I thought, nah, this is it, I'm going to triathlons, I'm going to get into it.
And so the turnaround to his life began, off the drugs cold turkey and into fitness.
And then it just pretty much went from there, and it kept on going, and as I kept on going, I got more of a hunger. That's definitely my life, yeah. I love it.
The O'Neill name is well known to IronMan. Today, Matt's mum and dad, brother and 2 sisters are all competing and raising money for the Kids Foundation, the official charity of IronMan Australia. It supports children recovering from serious injuries. The bike leg grinds on. At the 60k turnaround, Mackenzie and Hecht are together in the lead. Vernay and Bell are nearly 4 minutes behind, while swim leader Cameron Watt will soon retire. Anderson is nearly 6 minutes off the pace and having problems with a loose aero bar. Worries or not, the best cyclist in the race knows he must make an impact here.
I'll be attacking, but not probably more than once or twice. I think you can really burn some matches if you attack too many times. And usually I don't catch people until they're slowing down a bit. The leaders go out and they ride the first 90 probably the same pace as me. It's just that I ride the second 90 the same, whereas they're all slowing down. So generally speaking, people don't have enough energy to go with me when I'm coming past.
The bike course is challenging, with a number of steep climbs, including Timex Heart Rate Hill. All will test every single rider. Such challenges are easily conquered by the world champion Wellington. She is third at 60k, just over 2 minutes behind Major, who holds a slight advantage over Morangan.
I pretend that I'm not leading, just so I don't ease up or I don't have any thoughts of anything like that. I just think, okay, you're in a good position, but you've got to keep going the same speed, or you can try and pick it up a notch.
My aim is just to go as hard as I can on the bike. I do try and break it into 3 60k rides, rather than think of it as, oh no, I'm going into 180k. I think that makes it slightly easier.
Talking about race tactics is still a relative novelty for Wellington. To say she has enjoyed a rapid rise in her sport is a grand understatement.
Did a couple of triathlons in 2004, and then I did 4 in 2006. One of which was the World Age Group Championships, which I surprised myself by winning.
She isn't your typical pro athlete. She has a degree in economic geography and a master's in international development. Before turning seriously to triathlon, she spent more than a year managing a water and sanitation project in Nepal.
We're getting today. Enjoying it, but everyone's got to do it. It's great. Love it.
Rain, hills, wind, and the distance itself. Who will conquer all?
Do you think I'm far behind the leaders?
Those leaders are still Mackenzie and Hecht, together at the halfway mark. While Vernay is third, 4.5 minutes back. He must do much of his work alone. Anderson is 6 minutes 23 behind in 4th spot. Luke Bell has dropped to 9th. In the women's, Major still leads, but Wellington is a little more than a minute behind as she rides with Morangan. In the back half of the Avanti bike leg, the pressure builds as thoughts about positioning for the marathon grow larger.
You always says that the race began when you are between the 150 kilometers on the bike.
As the bike leg enters its final stages, there is one certainty. Mackenzie is the one everyone has to catch. He comes into town for the final time, still a matter of seconds in front of Hecht. 5.5 hours after the race began, Mackenzie heads into the last daunting discipline, 42.2 kilometres, the marathon. There is a long way to go as those behind him desperately chase down every second. Not surprisingly, Anderson has made up some time. He is third into transition after clocking the day's fastest bike leg, 4 hours 42 minutes 20 seconds. In transition, every single moment counts. Vernay is fourth, nearly 6 minutes behind Mackenzie and 3 behind Anderson. New South Welshman Nathan Stewart and Port Macquarie's very own Tim Burkle make up the top 6. Their race times just a second apart. Most interest though is on Vernay, a brilliant runner. In the final stages of the women's, Wellington closes in on Major. At a time in the event when tiredness can take its toll, the world champion is well equipped.
There are going to be dark times in the race. It might come in the swim, the bike, or, or the run. For me, I refer back to times in my life where I've managed to overcome challenges and adversity, and I think that makes me stronger. I cycled across the Himalayas with my friends from Lhasa to Kathmandu, and that was about 1,300k. We did it on mountain bikes off-road, but we were going through snowstorms and sandstorms and 90k an hour winds, and we left our bikes outside and they all froze. And things like that make you realise that you can overcome physical challenges and come through the other side.
Into the final stages, a telling move. Wellington overtakes Major to assume the lead.
I think if you feel strong and you feel confident, then the front is the very best place to be.
She comes into transition 79 seconds ahead of Major. The race is now 6 hours old, and some experts say it is only now that it really begins. When Major starts her final leg, it seems that this has become a race in two. Morangan is third into transition, but she is 9 minutes behind and with an injury that forces her out of the race. This means West Australian Joanne Bennett is the nearest chaser, 18 minutes off the pace. More good news for Port Macquarie. Local Melinda Cockshut is fourth. Three laps of a 14-kilometre course by the water and up some hills. It may be a postcard for an outsider, but for the competitors, it's tough work. At the 6k mark, Mackenzie earns a $1,000 bonus when he is first through the power bar zone. Behind him, the moves are starting to happen. Anderson closes in on Hecht and will soon be second. The former doctor and now full-time athlete takes a scientific approach to this most demanding discipline.
If you see a heart rate drop by 5 or 10 beats over a relatively short period of time, then you think, well, my gut's probably not emptying so well, I'm probably not getting as much glucose into my blood. I try and apply some physiological principles to why my heart rate might have dropped. Or alternately, if your heart rate's getting too high, then you think, well, I'm probably getting a bit too close to my threshold, so I should just back it off just a touch.